Challenge me!
Roman Reigns stands 6'3", weighs 265 pounds of pure muscle, and, in my opinion, is the most dominant professional wrestler of the modern era. The undisputed premier star anchoring WWE for over a decade. But here's the fact that most people skip right past. Athletics literally saved his life. At 22 years old, while training as an NFL prospect, doctors uncovered a hidden leukemia diagnosis that had gone completely undetected. He fought through it, recovered, made it to an NFL practice squad, and then went on to build the most physically imposing career professional wrestling has ever seen. So what does Roman Reigns actually do to build and maintain a physique like that? And how do regular people go from average to jacked using the same principles?
What is God mode? God mode is 200 IQ plus world-class athlete.
That is exactly what this video, this workout gets you jacked like Roman Reigns, is going to answer. Anoaʻi Joseph Anoaʻi, that is Roman Reigns' real name, grew up inside one of the most decorated wrestling families in history. His father, Sika, is a WWE Hall of Famer. He comes from the same legendary Samoan wrestling dynasty connected to names like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, the Usos, Yokozuna, Rikishi, and Umaga. His entire bloodline reads like a who's who of professional wrestling greatness. But Roman Reigns did not start in a ring. He played college football at Georgia Tech, then signed with the Minnesota Vikings, later joined the Jacksonville Jaguars, and eventually played for the Edmonton Eskimos in the CFL. He was a football player first, an athlete who trained for performance, not aesthetics. When leukemia returned in October 2018, Roman Reigns walked to the center of a WWE ring and announced it live on television.
And I've been living with leukemia for 11 years.
He vacated the Universal Championship on the spot and walked away to focus on his health. He went into remission in early 2019, came back to WWE, and then had arguably the greatest run of his entire career, a historic Universal Championship reign that eventually became part of the undisputed WWE Universal Championship run and lasted over 1,300 days. That kind of physical and mental resilience is not an accident. It is the product of a training philosophy that most people never fully understand. Roman Reigns does not train like a typical professional wrestler. He trains like the professional athlete he has always been, and that distinction is everything when it comes to understanding how to get jacked the right way. His entire program is built on a foundation of heavy compound movement, the lifts that build real, functional, structural muscle that holds up under pressure. Here's what a Roman Reigns-inspired weekly training split can look like. Monday, chest and triceps. Heavy pressing first, then incline work, then triceps. The goal is to build that thick upper body armor without turning the entire workout into random cable exercises. Tuesday, back and biceps. Rows, pull-downs, pull-ups, and curls. For a Roman-style physique, the back matters just as much as the chest. That wide, dense upper back is what makes a big frame look even bigger. Wednesday, athletic conditioning. Sled pushes, sprint intervals, load carries, or agility work. This is how you keep the body athletic instead of just bulky. Thursday, shoulders and traps. Overhead pressing, lateral raises, rear delts, and shrugs. This is the session that builds the width and presence people notice immediately. Friday, legs. Squats, leg press, Romanian deadlifts, lunges, and calves. Roman Reigns does not look like a guy who skipped the foundation. Saturday, functional full body, medicine ball throws, bodyweight circuits, loaded carries, core work, and mobility. This keeps the individual muscle groups working together instead of just looking good in isolation. Here is the key distinction between Roman Reigns and how most people approach how to get jacked. He trains for performance first. The physique is the byproduct, not the goal. That mindset shift changes everything about how you walk into a gym. Roman Reigns represents something most gym goers completely underestimate: progressive overload with intentional recovery built in. Most people go to the gym, lift roughly the same weight for roughly the same reps, and wonder why their body looks the same 6 months later. The Roman Reigns-inspired approach is different. Add loads, add reps, or improve control over time on your main compound lifts. Not recklessly, not every session, but consistently enough that your body has no choice but to adapt. Think about what that actually adds up to. 5 pounds added here, 1 extra rep there, better control on the same weight next month. That is how physiques change. The progress may look small on paper, but stacked over months and years, it becomes a completely different body. That is the actual engine behind going from average to jacked. Not a special exercise, not a supplement stack, just consistent, progressive effort compounded over time. Here's another detail worth noting. Recovery has to be treated as part of the program, not a break from it. Your body does not build muscle during the workout, it builds muscle during recovery. The workout is the signal. Sleep is where the adaptation happens. Most people obsess over sets and reps, then ignore the thing that lets those sets and reps actually turn into muscle. Roman Reigns eats to perform, not just to look a certain way in the mirror. His reported approach centers on high-protein, performance-style meals. Things like egg whites with oats or cream of rice, chicken and rice, steak and rice, and other simple bodybuilding staples. At his size and training volume, that means a lot of food spread across the day. Not because meal timing is magic, but because getting enough protein, carbs, and total calories to recover from that kind of training is hard to do in only 2 or 3 sittings. The principle is simple and does not need to be complicated. Enough protein to rebuild muscle tissue, enough carbohydrates to fuel hard training sessions, and enough total calories to support recovery. Nothing exotic, nothing extreme. Here's where I want to be direct with you, because Roman Reigns has something most people do not. It is literally his full-time occupation to perform and look the way he does. He has professional level support, years of athletic foundation, and a career built around staying physically ready. You have a job, you have responsibilities, and that's completely fine, because the principles behind the Roman Reigns physique scale down to real life. If you're just starting out, your version of this looks like 3 days a week, full body sessions, squat, press, row, hinge. 4 sets of each, moderate weight, focused entirely on form. Do exactly that for 8 weeks before adding any complexity. Going from average to jacked starts with consistency, not variety. If you train hard, eat enough protein, and actually stick to it, that first 8-week window is where you can start seeing real changes. The hardest part is not the workout, it's showing up a 3rd time when you're sore from the first 2. If you've been training for a while, your version can look like a push-pull leg split, 4 to 6 days a week depending on your recovery. Push, chest, shoulders, and triceps. Pull, back, biceps, and rear delts. Legs, quads, hamstrings, glutes, and calves. Apply progressive overload over time on your main lifts. Track your numbers every session. Your training log is your scoreboard. For nutrition, start here regardless of experience level. Hit your protein target first. A strong baseline is around 0.8 grams per pound of body weight per day. Every other variable adjusts around that number. Roman Reigns did not build that physique in one training block. He built it across a lifetime of consistent athletic work, reinforced by the kind of discipline that comes from facing real adversity and choosing to come back stronger. Now you know the principles behind how Roman Reigns trains, and more importantly, how to apply them based on where you are right now. But how to get jacked looks different depending on your specific body type, and a program built for one body type can actually hold back another. If you want the right training approach for your specific starting point, whether you're carrying extra weight, naturally lean, or somewhere in between, I've put together dedicated videos for each body type right here on the channel. Go check those out next. The right program for your body makes every single rep count more.